Be cautious, my child, for the persistent uneasiness within you has not arisen without reason. Yet I do not want you to allow concern to become hasty judgment. I am leading you into watchfulness, where you learn to observe how others treat you and recognize what is diminishing your peace. Someone close to you may be acting from motives that are not entirely sincere, attempting to influence or control you, or causing you to question yourself. Even so, do not respond with anger or fear. What I am giving you is not confusion, but the ability to see the situation clearly. I know you have asked yourself many times whether you are simply overthinking things. You have tried to overlook the words that made your heart heavy, the inconsistent behavior, and the occasions when that person forced you to explain yourself excessively. You told yourself that perhaps everything was merely a misunderstanding, yet the discomfort continued to return. Discernment sometimes comes through a quiet pause or a recurring sign. I am teaching you to pay attention to these things while also testing them through truth, time, and observable behavior. Do not reach a conclusion based solely on emotion, but neither should you deny what is unfolding before your eyes. Do not allow anyone to persuade you that establishing boundaries is selfish, that caution is coldness, or that protecting your peace means you lack love. You have the right to step back when a relationship continually leaves you exhausted, confused, or directionless. You have the right not to respond immediately, not to disclose every private detail, and not to give authority over your life to someone who has not demonstrated honesty. I am not telling you to close your heart to everyone. I am reminding you that kindness must be accompanied by wisdom. A pure heart does not mean you must accept every form of treatment. If that person is truly attempting to manipulate you, the signs will not exist only in your feelings. You may notice that they distort your words, make you feel guilty for setting limits, change their attitude when they do not receive what they want, or cause you to distrust your own judgment. They may use sweet words to conceal pressure, silence as a form of punishment, or make you feel that you must constantly chase after them to explain yourself and apologize. When these patterns repeat, do not deny what you are seeing. Remember the facts. Remain calm, and do not argue when emotions are running high. Truth does not need to be shouted in order to remain true. I want you to break free from the habit of blaming yourself. Not every disturbance was created by you, and not every fracture is yours to repair. Some people merely want to keep you in a position that benefits them, where you continually surrender, remain silent, and place their needs before your own. When you begin to stand upright, they may say that you have changed. Yes, you are changing. But this change is called maturity. You are learning not to betray yourself in order to be accepted. And you are realizing that peace must be protected through wise decisions. Nevertheless, do not allow caution to become suspicion. I am not leading you into isolation, nor do I want you to view everyone as a threat. Allow the truth to reveal itself over time. Ask clear questions, listen to the answers, and observe whether words are consistent with actions. Seek counsel from mature and trustworthy people who are not emotionally entangled in the conflict. If the situation involves finances, employment, health, legal matters, or personal safety, preserve the evidence and seek appropriate assistance. Wisdom is not the act of guessing another person's intentions, Wisdom relies upon what can be observed and verified. Do not rush into confrontation merely to prove that you are right. Keep your words concise, your manner calm, and your decisions consistent. When necessary, you may end a conversation if respect is no longer being maintained. A clear boundary is not a declaration of war. It is how you protect the precious things I have placed within your life. Forgiveness does not mean restoring the same level of access someone once had. You may release resentment while maintaining distance. And you may desire what is good for another person while still leaving what is no longer safe. If you realize that you have remained too long in a harmful relationship, do not be ashamed. You stayed because of hope, compassion, and the desire to see everything healed. Those qualities are not weaknesses, but compassion does not require you to remain where respect is repeatedly trampled upon. The purpose of this warning is not to frighten you, but to return you to a peace that rests upon a firm foundation. Slow down. Observe. Take note, and act one step at a time. Those who sincerely care for you will respect your boundaries, welcome clarity, and never pressure you to abandon the right path. I am here to strengthen you with courage and teach you to move forward without bitterness. When the truth becomes visible, you will not need revenge, because your freedom will already be your answer. Remember this: your peace deserves protection. Your voice deserves to be heard. And the right path will lead you toward clarity, maturity, and freedom. At this moment, I want you to recognize that not every round of applause surrounding you comes from a sincere heart. Someone may appear joyful in your presence while privately feeling troubled by your progress. They may speak sweetly, smile warmly, and remain close during memorable moments. Yet deep within, they may still wonder why something good has come to you instead of them. Some may even hope that you make a mistake so that they can feel better about their own lack of progress. Nevertheless, my beloved child, I am not telling you this to plant suspicion within your heart, nor do I want you to live anxiously or look upon everyone with distrust. I am teaching you to mature in discernment and to distinguish genuine love from closeness that exists only in outward appearance. You do not need to fear anyone, but you must learn to place your trust wisely and not hand everything precious to people who are not mature enough to protect it. Therefore, understand that timely silence is not a sign of weakness, but a covering of wisdom I am placing around you. Not every plan needs to be announced. Not every newly opened door needs to be discussed. And not every joy you receive must immediately be displayed before the eyes of the crowd. Some things take deeper root when they are preserved in peace. A seed that is repeatedly dug up merely to prove that it is growing will never have the opportunity to sprout. In the same way, what I am preparing in your life must be protected from hasty opinions, uninformed judgments, and the negative influence of comparison. You do not need to explain your journey to everyone, because not everyone understands the price you paid to stand where you are today. Allow the results to speak at the proper time, while you continue walking quietly, diligently, humbly, and watchfully. I know you have passed through seasons when every effort seemed to disappear into emptiness. You did far more than others could see, persevered through days when no one encouraged you, and continued moving when no one acknowledged your dedication. At times, you wondered whether your prayers had been heard because time continued to pass while what you hoped for had still not appeared. You watched others move forward rapidly while you seemed to remain in the same place. struggling with questions that had no answers. But my child, that silence never meant that I had forgotten you. Throughout every day of waiting, I was shaping the way you think, purifying motives that were not yet fully aligned, and developing within you a strength that would not be easily shaken. I was not only preparing something good for you, I was also preparing you so that you would be able to preserve it when it arrived. If I placed a great gift into the hands of someone who was not ready, that gift could quickly become a burden. Therefore, the seasons of delay you experienced were actually necessary periods of training. I taught you how to live when you had little, so that abundance would not control you later. I allowed you to understand what it felt like to lack support, so that, when you were placed in a position to help others, you would not become indifferent. I permitted you to walk through solitude during certain stages, so that you would learn that your worth does not depend upon anyone's praise or attention. These lessons were not insignificant. They are the foundation for the transition drawing near, because what you are about to receive requires a steadfast heart, open hands, and a mind capable of stewardship rather than merely consumption. The prosperity I am bringing is not simply a reward for the days you endured. It is also a responsibility, an opportunity for you to become a source of support, and a means through which you can build things of lasting value. As your resources increase, your wisdom must also increase. When greater doors appear, you must guard yourself even more carefully against pride and impulsiveness. Do not spend merely to impress others. Make decisions merely to prove that you have succeeded, or allow flattery to make you forget where you began. What is placed into your hands can multiply when used wisely, but it can also disappear quickly when handled carelessly. Therefore, I want you to receive with gratitude, choose with caution, and give generously whenever you are guided to share. You must also understand that guarding what is precious does not mean becoming withdrawn or cold. You may continue to love, show kindness, and remain open, but allow that openness to be accompanied by healthy boundaries. You may forgive without necessarily restoring the access someone once had. You may treat others graciously without telling them every plan that is taking shape. You may bless those who once misunderstood you without returning to environments that repeatedly weakened your confidence. I want you to mature until you no longer react merely because you have been provoked, rush into arguments to defend your reputation, or feel compelled to prove your innocence against every accusation. Let peace become the manner in which you walk, composure become your answer, and time reveal what you do not need to explain with words. The unexpected thing I am preparing may not appear in the form you once imagined. It may arrive through what seems to be a chance encounter, a simple introduction, a sudden idea, a new partnership, or a door that had always remained closed but unexpectedly opens. You may be brought into an environment you never believed you were qualified to enter. Someone you did not expect may recognize the value others previously overlooked. Therefore, do not reject humble beginnings or judge an opportunity solely by its initial appearance. Observe carefully, listen deeply, and keep your mind clear, because turning points are often hidden in details that hurried people easily miss. If you believe that a positive change is drawing near, you may type 1111 as a sign to remind yourself to remain faithful. But do not stop at a declaration. Prepare yourself through discipline, learning, and responsible action. You will eventually realize that some developments can happen more quickly than anything you anticipated. Something that remained delayed for a long time may be resolved within a very short period. Pieces that once seemed unrelated may suddenly connect. And one wise decision may carry you into an entirely new stage. Others may say that you were merely fortunate, but you will know that your quiet days of training prepared you for that moment. A breakthrough does not invalidate your effort. It demonstrates that your effort has finally encountered the right time, the right people, and the right opportunity. When change arrives, do not become overwhelmed by its speed. Remain calm. Examine each step. And do not allow temporary emotion to lead you into careless commitments. I am not bringing you out of a difficult season only for you to lose your stability through impatience. Therefore, beginning today, guard your words, protect your plans, and nurture good things with the necessary measure of privacy. Do not concern yourself excessively with those who doubt you, because you do not need their permission to continue growing. Do not allow another person's jealousy to make you bitter. Keep your heart tender while your eyes remain discerning. When you are lifted up, remember to reach down and help someone who needs a hand. When you receive more, learn to steward more wisely. When you are recognized, remember the days when no one saw you. When the unexpected thing finally appears, do not use it to prove that those who once underestimated you were wrong. Use it to demonstrate that patience, humility, and faithfulness can build a stable life. I am leading you into a new stage, not through chaos, but through clarity, not through fear, but through wisdom, not through loud displays, but through a quiet strength that no one can easily take from you. I saw every moment when you almost wanted to give up, every time you questioned whether you were truly good enough, and every occasion when you stood among a crowd yet felt that no one noticed your presence. I know how heavily that feeling weighed upon your heart, while others were called by name, praised, and given opportunities. You seemed able only to stand quietly in the background, trying not to collapse. But my beloved child, your silence never meant that you lacked value. The fact that you had not yet been noticed did not mean you had been forgotten. Some precious things are not immediately displayed before the eyes of the multitude, because they need time to mature in hiddenness before entering the place prepared for them. I saw the many times you allowed others to speak instead of competing for attention, chose what was right even when no one was watching, and remained honest even when you knew that integrity would cause you to advance more slowly. You wondered whether your kindness had placed you at a disadvantage. You questioned whether you should become harder, louder, or more like those who knew how to attract attention. Yet your dignity is not determined by your ability to make others look in your direction. It is revealed in the way you preserve a pure heart when no applause can be heard. It is found in your refusal to exchange your deepest principles for a temporary advantage. I want you to understand that every time you quietly remain steadfast, you are building a foundation that superficial opportunities could never create, because you have not been chasing what is coming. You may be astonished when it appears. You did not use every possible method to obtain it, nor did you attempt to force any door to open for you. You simply continued doing your part, walking honestly and avoiding the paths that could have cost you your peace. For this reason, the proposal that will be placed before you will carry a different meaning from the things you have encountered before. It will not come merely to flatter your pride or provide a brief moment of happiness. Behind it may be a significant responsibility, a clear transformation, and a path capable of affecting your future for many years. Therefore, do not look only at its initial splendor. Examine the nature, purpose, and influence of what is being offered. I am teaching you to prepare through wisdom rather than impatience. When a great opportunity appears after a long period of waiting, you may feel compelled to seize it immediately because you fear that it will disappear. Yet, what is truly meant for you will not require you to abandon discernment in order to keep it. Listen calmly. Observe every detail, and consider what will be required of you. Ask yourself whether that path will help you grow in integrity or force you to become someone else in order to be accepted. Discern whether the invitation honors your value or merely seeks to exploit your abilities. I do not want you to move forward in fear, but neither do I want you to enter something simply because you have become tired of waiting. The person who approaches you will not merely be someone with status, reputation, or decision-making authority. More importantly, they will possess the ability to recognize qualities within you that many others have overlooked. They may see endurance hidden behind your quietness, depth beneath an ordinary appearance, and leadership ability that you yourself once did not believe you possessed. Certain parts of you have been concealed beneath disappointment, unfair judgments, and experiences that caused you to withdraw. Yet this person will not look only at what you have accomplished outwardly. They will recognize how you handle pressure, how faithfully you keep your word, and how you treat others when there is nothing for you to gain. That meeting may not occur in the formal setting you imagine. It could begin with a very ordinary conversation, a brief question, a chance encounter, or an introduction from which you initially expect very little. You may believe it is only a minor connection, too insignificant to change anything. But remember that major turning points sometimes arrive in remarkably simple forms. Do not hastily determine the value of an encounter by its outward appearance. Be fully present. Speak sincerely. And do not attempt to display qualities you do not possess. Your natural manner, composure, and honesty may be precisely what allows that person to recognize that you are different. When the proposal is spoken, fear may immediately remind you of your former failures. Within yourself, you may hear questions such as, "Am I truly capable? Have they chosen the wrong person? What will happen if I disappoint everyone?" I understand that these questions do not arise because you are weak, but because you were overlooked for too long. You became accustomed to making yourself smaller so that others would not feel uncomfortable. You learned to doubt yourself before anyone else had an opportunity to doubt you. But now, I want you to stop using old experiences to measure something new. The past may have taught you caution, but it must not be allowed to determine the limits of your tomorrow. Do not reject the opportunity immediately simply because it is greater than anything you once imagined. Humility does not mean continually declaring that you are incapable. True humility means acknowledging that you still have things to learn while remaining willing to step forward when responsibility calls your name. You do not need to possess every answer from the beginning. You need only to be honest about what you know, willing to develop what you lack, and faithful to the values that brought you this far. I will not lead you to a door only to abandon you after you cross its threshold. Your preparation is found not only in your knowledge or experience, but also in the years during which you learned patience, endurance, and the ability to keep adversity from corrupting what is good within you. Nevertheless, Remember that not every invitation from an influential person deserves to be accepted. I am reminding you to remain watchful, not because I want you to distrust everything, but because I want you to distinguish genuine value from something that merely appears attractive. The right proposal will not require you to betray your conscience, diminish others, or conceal things you know to be dishonest. It may require hard work, movement beyond what is familiar, and the courage to confront new challenges. But it will not demand the sacrifice of your dignity. When you sense peace accompanying responsibility, clarity accompanying challenge, and respect accompanying expectation, you will have stronger grounds for recognizing the appropriate direction. Therefore, beginning today, do not live as someone who is still waiting to be recognized. Live as someone who is being prepared to steward something meaningful. Guard your words. Strengthen your abilities. Keep your relationships honest. And complete the work currently before you with excellence. Do not despise small responsibilities, because the way you handle small things reveals your ability to preserve greater ones. I do not want you to become arrogant because an opportunity is approaching, but neither do I want you to continue bowing your head because you were overlooked in the past. Stand upright with gentleness, walk with pure confidence, and remember that your value does not begin on the day an influential person recognizes you. My beloved child, your quiet years were never empty. Every time you made the right decision when no one cared, continued forward when no results were visible, and preserved your kindness after being wounded, contributed to your preparation for this moment. When the door opens, do not panic, disqualify yourself, or move hastily. Look carefully, listen deeply, ask the necessary questions, and move forward with the courage that was refined during the days when you believed you were merely surviving. I am near you, supporting your discernment and reminding you that what is truly appropriate will not merely raise you into a new position. It will also help you become a more mature, steadfast, and useful version of yourself. You must understand that not every proposal that appears is intended to pull you away from the right path, and not every blessing arrives in a gentle, familiar, or easily accepted form. Some gifts I send are wrapped in change, responsibility, and challenge, because precious things often require you to move beyond the limits that once made you feel safe. This is such a moment. What is approaching will not only open a new door, but also invite you to enter a more mature, clear-minded, and courageous part of yourself. Therefore, do not hastily interpret nervousness as a sign that you must turn back, and do not mistake unfamiliarity for a warning that you are incapable. Sometimes you tremble not because you are walking in the wrong direction, but because you are standing before something greater than anything you once believed you could carry. That invitation may cause you to question whether you are truly ready. You may focus upon your shortcomings, remember past failures, and assume that you need far more time before you deserve to move forward. But I want you to look calmly upon the journey behind you. You are no longer the person who panicked easily whenever circumstances changed. The days of waiting taught you patience. The times you were misunderstood taught you when to remain silent. And your losses helped you recognize what is truly valuable. You were shaped through experiences that no one else witnessed completely. Therefore, your preparation does not exist only in knowledge or planning. It is also found in your ability to remain steadfast. Think carefully and choose with maturity. Do not diminish yourself merely because this opportunity requires you to become greater. If you continue waiting until you feel no anxiety whatsoever, you may miss the moment when courage needs to be awakened. When the transition begins, not everyone around you will understand it. Some will ask questions because they care, while others will doubt because they themselves are afraid of change. They may remind you of the risks, exaggerate things that may never happen, or advise you to return to what is familiar simply because it makes them feel safer. Listen with a gentle attitude, but do not hand authority over your future to another person's fear. What I open for you does not need to be immediately approved by everyone. Some things can be fully understood only by the person who has been called, because only you know the signs that have appeared, the reminders that have been repeated, and the quiet prompting that has gradually grown within your heart. Respect the opinions of others while preserving your own discernment. Humility does not mean allowing every voice to direct you. Wisdom means knowing which voice to receive, which one to set aside, and which one merely reflects the limitations of the person speaking. I also want you to remember that this moment has not arrived by accident. If the proposal had appeared while you were still excessively impatient, you might have accepted it impulsively and then lost your stability. If it had come while you still depended heavily upon approval, you might have abandoned it at the first sign of opposition. But now, you have learned not to make decisions merely to please others. You know how to take time to observe, verify, consider the consequences, and accept responsibility for your choices. This maturity is what makes the present moment appropriate. The things that once slowed you down were not entirely useless. Many stages that seemed like delays were actually building the foundation you will need to preserve what is about to be placed into your hands. You are being prepared not only to receive the gift, but also to protect it, develop it, and use it in a manner that produces lasting good. Therefore, when the opportunity arrives, do not treat it as something insignificant, but neither should you rush into it carelessly. I am not calling you to act blindly. I am teaching you to move forward with watchful eyes, a clear mind, and a responsible attitude. Examine the nature of the proposal, what it requires, the value it creates, and the direction it opens. What is good will not force you to betray pure principles, abandon the deep peace within you, or feed your pride. Instead, it will invite you to mature, serve, learn, and become more trustworthy. Learn to distinguish between the discomfort that comes because you are growing and the uneasiness that arises because something is genuinely wrong. You possess enough discernment to recognize the difference, provided that you do not allow fear to speak more loudly than wisdom.